Hey, what's
Hello,
up,
Matt.
everyone? How's it going, Jess?
It's going well, man. That video hypes me up. I don't know about you.
I am ready to go. I got my we got our video, got my requisite Dunkin', and we're still working on the sponsorship for Dunkin' Donuts around here. But before we get into
Yes.
talking IT Nation Secure, Jess, can you do a quick intro of yourself for everyone who doesn't know you? I know you're behind the scenes a lot of the time.
No, I appreciate that, Matt. So, my name is Jessica Dimmitt. For anyone that doesn't know me or haven't talked to, I am in charge of pretty much all things content at IT Nation Secure, along with Matt Topper here. So, it's been a whirlwind of a ride, and I'm so excited to share some cool details with everybody.
Yeah, and part of her job is keeping me in line with deadlines and organizing and everything that has to get done. And Jess is awesome at all of it.
Thank you.
Um,
I appreciate it.
but before we talk about secure, we have to highlight something that we talked about pre-show. So, my background here is always like this interesting talking point on calls and streams, and I don't actually know anything about Minecraft. I thought the colors are cool, and I've been told this is Minecraft. So, Jess, can you explain again what's in the background of this?
Oh man, I can't believe you're putting me on the spot here, Matt. But from my very small knowledge of Minecraft, I think you have the overworld on your one side, which is the pretty blue earth, and then you have the nether, which is the end, which is made up of lava and it's dark. That's pretty much the extent of what I know about Minecraft. So I heard the movie is wild. I haven't been there, but that's the extent of what my knowledge of there is.
I mean that's more than I know, so you're already doing better. Um,
Perfect.
okay, so that out of the way, let's talk about
Hmm.
IT Nation Secure and some of the highlights and new things this year. So let's just start with the overview. In case
Yeah.
anyone hasn't been there, or in case anyone is new to IT Nation Secure, uh, what is it?
Yeah, so I mean, I love talking about IT Nation Secure because this is really dedicated to our cybersecurity industry. We're trying to make this the number one cybersecurity conference around, which I think we're doing a pretty good job at for sure, from my standpoint. I mean, it's amazing to see everyone come together in terms of even if you're not a part of cybersecurity, if you're owners of companies, learning more about cybersecurity and just the networking side of it as well, in the community aspect brings everyone together.
For sure, and it's a way to just get plugged into what's happening in the security industry, what's happening,
Mhm.
what you should be aware of. And the point that I keep trying to highlight to anyone who asks me is that it's not just about finding new tools and new vendors and things. I mean, that's part of it. Tools are part of security, but it's also just about learning what everyone else is seeing, learning what your peers are dealing with, what problems they're trying to solve, and just coming up with solutions together, right? Just best practices and how to solve challenges, not just what tools to use, though that is certainly part of security. And frankly, it's one of the more fun parts at times for you nerds out there like me.
No, I mean you said it perfectly too, because especially if you're small business, medium sized, large, like you're facing issues that anybody that comes to this conference can either learn from or learn how to manage because they haven't faced it, or just learning about the tools around. And that's what I love about this conference too. And as we dive a little bit more into some of the content that we're going to have this year, we're giving so many more opportunities for networking as well as conversations to own. So it'll be really fun to learn about all the aspects and all the stuff that everyone else learns at the conference.
For sure. And so we talked about during the last live stream, there are some new things this year around, interactive exhibits, and you actually taught me a new term earlier, right? Calling it content pillars.
Yeah,
Um, so that means type of content for those of us like me who are not in the event planning business until now.
I know. Welcome to my world here. Yeah, I mean, I love to hear about just all the different things that we're doing, and thank you so much for helping us drive all the different innovations that we're going to be having on site. So we are still going to be starting each conference off with a pre-day, as we're calling it, a pre-conference session. So these are still
Mhm.
going to be hands-on workshops. We actually are bringing Automation Nation as a pre-day back for IT Nation Secure. This is going to be a full day event of just being hands-on in our ASIO products. So if you want to learn more and more about ASIO and all the cool things that ASIO can do, make sure we're signing up for that pre-day. And then there's still a lot of other hands-on workshops too that we're handling for pre-day, which is amazing to see.
There's lots of new things. Let's talk about though. There's one thing that's very different in terms of the
Yes.
content this year, and that is the selection process. We did something
Yeah.
totally different than any event here that I've been a part of so far, and something that I really haven't seen too much of in the industry so far. So let me briefly talk about what it is, and then you can riff on that.
Yeah.
So this year, we did still have our open call for speakers to submit content, but we did something a little different with the tracks, right? Each track is owned by both an internal person and an external SME from the industry. In many cases, they're names that you would recognize in the industry. And our ask to them was, through the lens of what does the industry need to hear,
Mhm.
what types of things would make sense to talk about here? And I don't know about you, Jess. I feel like that's created a different set or type of breakout session than we normally get. And I think for the better so far, based on what I've seen.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that the content that was curated from our internal and external track leaders has broadened the horizon of what we could potentially have brought into IT Nation Secure if we just looked at like the call for speakers link. A lot of our sessions did come from call for speakers because they were best of the best that were taken. But it was really cool to see all the different internal and external SMEs and track leaders come together to figure out what would be the best for our industry and for the market value. So we really did. I mean, there are some really exciting sessions that are online now.
Are there any in particular that stand out that you want to highlight? I can think of a couple if you don't have any off the top of your head.
I mean, I just love the amount of panels that we're bringing. Honestly, we
Yes.
we have two designated rooms that are going to be strictly panel based, and the panelists that are going to be coming, I know, are going to share just such great insights to the topics. And we have panels in all of our tracks. So it's really cool that we were able to gather so many industry leaders to come together for a cybersecurity conference to share their ideas. So I always love panels because I'm not like a huge like person that just wants to like look at slides. So I love to hear about personal experiences. And I think that's why another reason why I love another one of our content pillars, which we'll discuss later, is going to hit home pretty well for me. So I just love the amount of panels and the amount of voices that we're going to be giving at our conference.
No, I do too. And one of the things that I like about all the content breakouts, um, they're very real world applicable to things that are going on day to day. Like all of our topics, they're not necessarily like this ivory tower academic research based, right? The AI track has a session on like what's AI besides ChatGPT and LLMs, right? Like practical type of applications, not just, hey, how do you use this thing? Uh, what does it really mean for your business and for your environment? And most importantly, we've asked each speaker to tell the story through the lens of how
Yes.
can you leave this session and have something that you can take back to your business.
I 1000% agree. I also love how we're really driving the home of making sure that there's a business case and an action item, and how are we going to solve this? How do we want to solve this? What's the best ways to solve this? And not just giving like a straight presentation on a problem. It's giving the problem as well as the solution, which I think that that's would help me for sure. I want to know what the problem is in case I
Yeah,
enforce or I encounter the problem, but then how do I also fix the problem too? So I love that we're also making sure that we're gearing all these presentations up to prove that as well.
for sure. Okay, so you teased it. What's the next content pillar that you want to talk
Oh man,
about?
I'm so hyped to talk about our technical breakout sessions that we're doing on site. Um, I all of the surveys I always see with our sessions are, man, I really want some hands-on lab type technical breakouts. Well, we are delivering them at IT Nation Secure, and I'm so excited to see how these go because we are not just doing small little rounds of technical breakouts. They are extended sessions. We are doing more workshops, more hands-on lab styles, and I just am going to love the atmosphere of those rooms. Um, but yeah, Matt, like, what are you excited about for the technical breakouts?
So, kind of the same thing as you. In addition to wanting more hands-on labs, I had heard from several people, even after some of my own presentations, man, I wish this was longer, right? Could we do
Mm-hmm.
something that's a double session or even a longer one? And
Yeah,
we finally have the opportunity to do that this year. And it's a couple things. This would normally be pre-days. This would normally be things that you don't necessarily get to go to unless you fly in early and stay an extra hotel night. Um, right during the conference, you have a chance to bring your laptop, get your hands dirty, and start actually working on something and leave understanding how to do something by actually doing it during the session and asking some of the experts in the room to help you along the way, right? That you can actually build something while you're right there. Um,
yeah, and I
one of
want
the
to
what,
preface this too, like it's
yeah,
not just all ConnectWise. It's not ConnectWise sessions in
yes,
there. There are Microsoft sessions. There are sessions about like security issues. So don't feel like these technical breakouts are just ConnectWise product-based ones. There is one thrown in there, but it's going to be a really cool recovery lab from the Axion Skykick team. But yeah, I mean, I love the fact too that we're bringing in other workshops and not just internal to share all knowledge on all different things happening within cybersecurity.
exactly. So the lens that we did the breakouts was what does the industry need to hear? The lens that we did this was it can't be something that's just a live version of what's in your knowledge base, right?
Yeah.
And I use that phrase when talking to anyone who's on the product side or from any organization who makes products. Like it has to be something new and different. And I'll tease one that's probably going to be highlighted that I'm super excited about. Building your own custom GPTs, like how awesome is that? So, learning how to use AI to make your own GPT that uses your data and how to do that
Yeah.
securely. That's going to be a very popular session, I
I
think.
know. I feel like I need to go sit in that session actually, because sometimes
me,
I
me
see
too.
sometimes I see stuff and I'm like, man, that's really cool. I'm like, how'd you create that? They're like, oh, like AI. And so maybe I need to go sit in there just to learn some cool techniques on how to enhance and streamline my job too.
I think that's going to be pretty awesome. So there's a number of them. We'll start getting them online. Some of them are online already, I think.
Yes. Yeah, actually, as of this morning, I was able to get all the technical breakout sessions online. So if you are very interested in it, you can filter by the category of technical breakouts and you can see all the ones that are coming out as technical breakouts. But I want to kind of shift gears because we're going to see two technical breakouts that are really based off of some new faces that we're going to be showcasing at IT Nation Secure. And we rolled out a new program called the Speaker Mentorship Program. So, Matt, do you want to discuss a little bit about that and like what our plans are?
I sure do. So the speaker mentorship program was this kind of new idea. I wasn't even sure we'd be able to execute it for secure, but we did. And what it
Mhm.
is I talk with people all around the event. In fact, this is my responsible for how I got into this side of the world in the first place was attending one of these shows and saying, man, I could be up there. Um,
Yes.
and so I thought, and we all thought it would be a good way to get some new speakers in here. There are so many smart people in our industry that have things to say and just have never been on stage before
Mhm.
and maybe don't know or don't feel confident yet in doing it or giving a presentation. So, what we're doing is something you can almost describe it as like a speaker version of the Pitch It program, where two speakers are going through a training program to figure out and work on selecting a topic, how to organize your speech, how to make your slides, how to get your stage presence. And after all of that, they're going on stage with somebody from our team and giving their presentation for the first time. And I think it's just a really, really cool way to get some new speakers in here and get some new content in here, things
Mhm.
that are important and critical for the industry to hear that just haven't been heard because the speakers maybe don't know where when the call for speakers opens or how people
Yeah.
get selected in the first place, right?
Mhm.
And I'm hoping that if this is successful, we do more and more of this at future events, right? Just keep getting new faces in here.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love this program because you're right. Like some speakers might really want to speak, but they're a little nervous on how do they even approach speaking. So I love that this is a new program that hopefully we can just build on top of and keep growing and growing for all the future um, conferences that we have coming up. Because, I think we have four now a year, I want to say.
We do,
So we
yeah.
have four big conferences a year. So there's four different major opportunities to come to conferences and speak on things that you're knowledgeable about. We don't want to sway you on what you would talk about because we want you to talk about stuff that you're knowledgeable in and you're comfortable with. So yeah, be on the lookout for the future, and I can't wait to see all the applications that come in.
I'm looking forward to seeing I won't name them yet. We're going to do some fanfare around the announcement, I think. But
Yes.
the two people that got selected for this, I personally know them, and they have a lot to say, and they have really something to contribute and give back to all of us. So they're going to be good. I'm really looking forward to it. So
Yeah.
shifting gears, I want to talk about our guest keynote. Right, recently announced our day 3 keynote.
Yes.
Um, Neil Weiler, he's coming
Hmm.
in to talk about a really, really cool topic. Do you want to take a stab at the description,
I
Jess?
think I think you're good at explaining it a little bit better
Okay,
than I would.
I got it. So Neil is talking about a really cool topic, and that is at Black Hat, the conference, known as an extremely hostile network, right? Like you don't even bring your real devices to these shows. And Neil is talking about from the defense perspective, how do you deal with a network that's openly hostile all the time? And one, it's just kind of a cool story, and two, that's the mindset of right, of zero trust and the way that we've gone in the industry is that making this assumption that you're always on a hostile network, right?
Yeah.
You don't know
Yeah.
that the coffee shop you go to isn't just as compromised as a conference network, or even your home network is pretty dangerous, right? You have IoT devices or like kids playing Minecraft, for example, right? Anything can be
Yeah.
happening. Um,
Hmm.
so he's going to talk about how he secured that network and how he dealt with some of the threat actors there. And then after the event, Neil, or after the keynote,
Yeah.
Neil, me, and Patrick Beggs are going to talk about how do you implement some of the lessons learned there in your own business, right? Kind of that translation layer or decoder ring between what you heard on stage and how does this work for you day to day. I think it's cool that we're actually doing that translation layer, and two, I think it's going to be really, really valuable to be able to take lessons learned and figure out how to apply
Yeah.
them, and it's just going to be a good story.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that the session that's going to be happening after the keynote is going to be super impactful because you can take everything that you learned within the keynote and bring your questions there. It's like you're going to have three heavy hitters that have been in the industry that have probably experienced a lot more that you can go there and really understand what they can do and how to make sure that your guys' experience will ultimately affect them in the long run. So it's going to be a great experience and a great session that's happening right after the keynote on Wednesday. And then I
For
think
sure.
I want to tease this though, but Mr. Matt Topper, Neil, and Mr. Patrick Beggs will be on a live stream next Tuesday at 2 o'clock. So they'll go a little bit more in depth on the keynote and their session. So make sure that's marked in your calendars now.
Agreed. That's going to be a good stream. So as we start to wrap this up,
Yeah.
just want to mention a couple things. One is that if you haven't registered yet while you're on the site checking out our sessions, we do have a promo code for early registration, Social
Mhm.
50. So go check it out. You get $50 off your registration. And while you're there, check out all of the technical breakout sessions Jess just mentioned and the regular breakout sessions that are many of them posted or all of them posted? I don't think all of them are quite yet.
Yeah, so most of them are posted now. We're still waiting for there's some sponsor breakouts that are going to be added. And then we are still finalizing some speakers and some panelists. So you will be seeing those be added. But yes, we're hoping within the week into next week that everything, all speakers, all sessions, everything is posted on there. So it gives you a little bit of time to kind of plan your schedule before it goes live.
Well, fantastic. So if you
Yeah.
haven't registered, go check it out. Really looking forward to talking more about some of the interactive things. Right, I have on my other screen. We're thinking about how the challenge coin is going to work. So maybe we'll tease that at some point. Just
Mhm.
quite a bit going on, and really looking forward to seeing everyone there. And Jess, thank you for coming on, for coming out
Oh, of
from
course.
behind the curtain. I know we don't get to see you on streams as much as we'd like.
Yeah, for sure. It was my pleasure. I hope to get invited back soon.
You'll be back. So thank you, and hope to see everyone at Secure coming up.
Bye.